on my mission to make 5-minute videos. I'm still getting close, but I like to talk too much, so bear with me. In any case, this video is gonna serve as a two-parter. What does that mean? It means this is part 2 of 2 videos. The first video that I made was about credits. I spoke a little bit about that. You can check that video out first and then come back here. But this is going to be the second part for the people, for the legends who watched the first video up until the end. In any case, this video is going to be talking about how a good credit score is calculated, or your credit score is calculated. The second thing I'm going to be looking at is how do you have a good credit score? What are the do's? What are the don'ts? But how the hell do they calculate this credit score? Let's have a look at what they're looking at. Some things have a bigger weighting or bigger influence than other things, right? So at the top, the biggest thing is going to be your payment history. In other words, how well have you paid your credit in the past? You've taken out a loan, you've borrowed money, you've financed this, you did lay-by that. How well did you pay back that money? They want to have a look at that. What they're specifically looking at is how often did you skip payments and how often were you late on payments and how late were you on your payments, right? That has the biggest weighting. How big? Give or take 40%. In other words, that's your make or freaking break, bruh. So do this right. Second thing that they look at is something called your debt utilization. Some of you have probably left this video by now, but for the legends who are still here, siyabong. In any case, what does debt utilization mean? Let me explain it this way. Imagine I'm a bank, right? You just came to Wayne Bank, best bank in the continent. And you say to the CEO of Wayne Bank, Wayne Ndlovu, you say to him, hey Wayne, I want a credit card. And Wayne says to you, lovely, here you go. Before you go to Foschini and Factory and all those kinds of things, if you want to go there and use your credit card to just start swiping and swiping and swiping, understand something. Your credit limit is 10,000 rands. And by then you're gone. You're gone. You're already in your Uber. You didn't hear me. You're gone. But then you start spending and spending and spending and spending, swiping and swiping and swiping. But then at some point, while you're buried in all of these Chanel bags, you're thinking to yourself, what the hell was Wayne talking about? What's that thing he said about the credit? What? Credit limit? What the hell is that? I'm gonna tell you what that is. The credit limit is basically the limit of the amount of money that's borrowed that you can use. Remember, borrowed money is what credit means. If I say to you, your credit limit is 10,000 rands, I wouldn't advise you using more than 10,000 rands. You still can, but I wouldn't advise it. In any case, why wouldn't I advise it? Because you're gonna get penalties, bro. Unless you want to pay more money. Like, don't do that to yourself. Stop. Get some help.
Stop it. Get some help.
But what's the last thing that they look at? They look at the length of your credit history, meaning how long you've been handling borrowed money. If you've been having a phenomenal payment track record where you're paying back money properly, right? Something our boy there can learn. If you've been doing that phenomenally, great. But if you've been doing that phenomenally for the past 2 months only, it's still great. But bro, we don't even know how you can handle money over a year, over 2 years. And now you're talking about getting a loan, you're getting a mortgage for 30 years. In any case, all we know is that you're good at paying back money for 2 months. The math isn't math and the combos are not communicating, my bro. Here's another question you might be wondering. Okay, cool, Wayne. I understand. I've watched the first video that's already 5 minutes, I hope. And now I'm freaking 4 minutes into this video and I still don't even know how to have a good credit score. Like, what do I do? How do I build that? Okay, I got you, bro. I got you. Here's the bad news, right? Here's the bad news. The bad news is this. It's not gonna happen tomorrow. Sorry. It's not gonna happen tomorrow. Okay, cool. But how do you go about doing that? First things first, bro. Pay your bills, dog. Pay your bills, dude. Yes, you. Hold on. Where's the camera? You pay your bills, bro. But especially when you have loans and mortgages. Second thing, pay back your rent. Like, pay your rent on time. Seriously. Like I said, I think I said this in the previous video, if not this video. Your rent is not exactly money that you owe. But if you don't pay your rent and it gets really bad and you skip enough rental payments, then your landlord can literally take you to debt collectors. Remember how I was talking about your credit limit? Yeah, don't go anywhere near your credit limit, please. Don't do that. So if your credit limit is 10,000 rands, don't go anywhere near 10,000 rands. when you're spending on that credit card. So what amount of money can we be using here? Like, how far can you go? How far can you take before things go south? Well, 30%. That's usually the recommended amount. 30%, don't go anywhere over that. Quickly. One last thing. Right. In case you want to know what your credit score is, just so you know, every single person within the borders of our beautiful nation is entitled to a free credit report every year. So take advantage of that. Okay, now I'm really gone.